Yo, guys, what's going on? This is your girl, Mad Skills, and welcome to the Spark Something podcast. I wanted to implement something that I thought would be dope. A lot of the times we have long weeks, we might have a long day, we might have had a long night, and we just need a pick me up. That's all I want this to be. So, this is a segment I want to introduce entitled Spotlight Saturday. Let's get it. Yo, guys, what's going on? This is your girl, Mad Skills. I hope that the audio on this thing does not sound trash. I am not in my normal setup. I'm actually on my way to work. I'm sitting in my car. I'm hotboxing it right now because I don't have the car running and the windows are starting to get foggy. I'm not hotboxing it the way some of y'all may think. But anyways, just know that there's no circulation going on because I want this to kind of be as good as possible. It's about, I'm going to say, what time is it? It's almost 7 o'clock. So it's about 6:45 in the morning on today, which is October 1st. And I just want to record something just to encourage somebody. I realized that I believe there's 5 Saturdays in the month of October. So I am challenging myself to drop a Spotlight Saturday every single Saturday this month. With that being said, I want to put it out there for anybody that is listening, just to let you guys know that I am challenging myself and you guys can also hold me accountable on this. I have not always been consistent because I've been trying different things, learning different things, and I've been trying to figure out what works for me and what it is that God wants me to, how it is that He wants me to do what He's calling me to do. A lot of the times we get, information from God and we take off running, which is good, but it's not always good when we don't necessarily stay for the full rundown of everything. Mind you, if you hear anything in the background, it's because I have rigged this up to where I can actually put this out. There's cars going by. I'm sitting still in my parking lot of my apartment complex. But we've took off running and we've hit the ground running and we're going full speed ahead. But a lot of the times God wants to see if He can trust us. And if He can trust us, He will begin to give us more information as we grow and we mature and we become. And that's good. That's great. Because a lot of us, we want the entire blueprint of everything. We want it mapped out to the T. Okay, this is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. And I have lived my life to where I've had an expectation of what I wanted God to do, or I had an expectation of what I think or I thought that God should do in my life and how it should be done. And I have took off running with some things and I'm just like, all right, God is going to do it like this. He's going to do it like that. It's going to fall into place at this time over here. And everything is going to be sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, and baby puppies, baby pit bull puppies at that. And it never falls into place that way. And I'm always shattered. And one thing that I realize is hope deferred makes a heart grow sick. That's actually biblical, but it means that if we continue to put our hopes in something and we don't receive it, or we don't receive it the way that we think we should get it, we stop hoping for it. And one thing that I notice about God is He tends to give us things when we least expect it, when we stop thinking about it, when it's not the number one thing that we talk about, that we speak about, that's on our mind. I'm not saying to completely forget about the promises that God has said to you or the promises that He's told you about. I'm saying know that those promises are there, but still go out and do what God is giving you to do. Still go out and pour into people, still go out and sow. I'm sitting in my car. This is crazy. I've actually never seen the sun rays from the sun coming up in the morning because it hasn't fully risen yet. but I'm looking up at the sky and I'm seeing like rays of the sun early in the morning. That's crazy. From the sky, because it is rising from the building that I'm looking at. But taking off running and not really having the full blueprint, a lot of us want to map out everything. And mapping out everything, I'm not against it. I think mapping out everything is beautiful. We should definitely plan, or we're planning to fail. And that's another thing. I am going to map this month of October out fully, as far as when it comes to the podcast. So I have been working on some stuff, and I have been trying to get things done. And I have been beating myself up, guys, because I haven't fully grasped the understanding that I'm not going to get it right the first time. And I'm learning that I'm not going to get it right the first time. And it may sound crazy to some, but let me explain. So I was taking my little cousin, taking my cousins, driving. So my cousins have grown up, guys. They have gotten older. Three of them are about to graduate from high school. I remember when I first had my first interaction with them. The last one is 8 or 9. She wasn't even born. Like, that's crazy. And she's like 9 now. And she is in elementary school. And I remember when I first came around, she wasn't even thought about. Like, it's crazy to me how time flies. But 3 of them are graduating this year from high school. One of them is, I believe she's a sophomore. So the sophomore and one of the graduates are actually learning to drive now. And Cousin Ned has a car, so Cousin Ned is teaching him how to drive. And I remember we don't always want to. I remember one of them's like, hey, I graduated from driver's ed, so I got it. The only thing that I don't know how to do is park. So what I tend to do is what God does a lot of the times to us. Of course, he likes us to work on our strengths, but he also wants us to work on our weaknesses. So what I did was, I was like, okay, cool. You got the driving down pat. Let's park. She's like, okay, well, I'm teaching her how to park, or we're going through the process of parking. And she was like, I don't understand. People who back in parking are really just trying to show off. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why people do that. And I was like, I'll teach you. And she was like, nah, I'm good. And I was like, dude, we're not about to, like, she's like, I'm never probably ever going to need to back in parking. I was like, maybe not, but it's a good skill to have. I'm still not that great at parallel parking because I don't ever need to parallel park, but I'm positive that I'm willing to learn how to parallel park if need be. If not, then I just jump out the car and Anthony will parallel park it. But so I was like, so when you need to park, if you need to park, what are you going to do? Like, jump out the car and have somebody to just, hey, I'm going to stop right here in the middle of the street. I want you to pull it in for me and park it right there. Like, what if you're in the car alone? You have to learn how to park because you can't just be asking random strangers to help you park the vehicle. So, long story short, we're parking and then we get to backing in and parking. So, she's like, I'm not good at this. And I remember when we got back to the house, she's telling, her parents and everything. She's talking to them. She's like, she's like, I'm good on the back end parking. I'm probably never going to use it. I don't need it. And I was like, nah, we got to work on it. And I remember her first try, her first attempt, she was ready to give up. She's like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, even the front end parking, she's like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not doing it. I said, you got to learn how. It's like, you have to learn how to do the things that you're afraid of doing. You have to learn how to do the things that you don't know how to do. thing about it is we may not be novice at these things, but at least we try them and we learn how to, especially if it's something that we're going to need. We learn how to do these things. So I remember her first attempt, she's like, I'm not good at it. I'm not going to do it again. And I was like, just try it. I'll be right here to lead you and to guide you. And that is exactly that moment, in that moment of me teaching my cousin how to park, and in that moment of just being with them and driving, because I remember when they were babies, being with them and driving, I realized that that is how God is with us. We're afraid, and we don't always know what's going on. We don't always know how to do things. And we step out here and we're working on something different, something that's out of our comfort zone. And we're like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I quit. It don't look like everybody else's, so I quit. I don't even look like I can do this, so I quit. I don't want people laughing at me. I don't need people judging me. I don't need people giving me their opinion on how bad I'm doing. I quit. And God is like, I will be right here to lead and guide you, because I see what you don't see. I have been here before. I've been driving now. I got my license late. My husband was the only person that'll teach me how to drive. And I got my license in 2015. And I was already an adult then. I was in my 20s. And now the job that I have now is I actually drive. Like, I'm driving for Carvana. Like, I drive the big tow trucks. I pick up and deliver cars. Like, I'm driving the cars that people are buying and selling. So that's actually the job that I have. Who would have thought, 7, 8, 6 years later that would be the job that I would be doing, which would be driving. And I started driving late, but I'm a pretty great driver, guys. And I take my time. I've learned some things on the road, but it's just a simple fact that I was so afraid to do this. So afraid to do this. I was so afraid to start something new. But even the job that I have now, it's taught me so many things on the road. I'm not afraid to drive anymore. I'm not afraid to drive long distances. That doesn't mean that I want to. When I'm not at work, I don't want to drive long distances. I actually want to be on the passenger side of my best friend's ride. But people don't always give me that option. It's like, oh, you good. You got it. You can do it. And it's like, but I don't want to. But I do it anyways. But back to, God is with us. God is with us in those moments when we feel like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. It's not comfortable. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to feel dumb. I don't want to be here having to be the one that everybody sees or notices that really doesn't have it all together. I want to look like I have it all together. Like, I'm going to step out and I'm going to pop out when I got something. And God is like, go out now. Go out there now. Step out there now when you don't have it all together. And watch me mold and shape you. Because a lot of the times we want people to see us in our light moments, in our moments to where we're shining. We don't want them to see us in our dim moments, the moments to where our lights aren't shining that bright, to where we working some stuff out, to where we getting some stuff together. We don't want people to see us in those moments. But God is like, trust me in those dim moments. In those dim moments is where I'm going to show up, and I will be the light. Because in your weakness, He is strong. So I wanted to encourage you guys. I'm hoping you guys got something out of that. God bless you guys. This is your girl, Mad Skills, and it's another Spotlight Saturday. And we out.